Breaking news for the crypto and blockchain space. We've got President Donald Trump following through on his early promises to make the USA a powerhouse when it comes to crypto and blockchain technology, with the official signing of a brand new executive order laying down the foundation and establishing a brand new crypto working group whose focus is solely on the digital asset markets. In addition, this brand new executive order puts together some laws or regulatory frameworks for the average American citizen, protecting them when it comes to investing and interacting with different blockchains. And there's also some key pieces focusing on CBDCs. As a part of today's video, we're diving into the details of this brand new executive order. Oh, what's up, Ita Gang? Welcome into Dapp Central, your home for everything blockchain and crypto. As I've just laid down the foundation there, President Donald Trump following through on his promises to make the USA great again when it comes to blockchain and crypto technology. And we're going to be diving into not just the executive order, but he's also given a pardon to Ross Ulbricht, the founder of Silk Road, a darknet platform that used Bitcoin as a form of currency. And then on top of that, we've got a pretty big SAB or staff accounting bulletin, which has been rescinded by President Donald Trump, which will now give banks the ability to custody Bitcoin. Now, I've also broken down the fact that the CEO of Bank of America has mentioned that once we get regulatory clarity, which this particular executive order aims to do so, that big banks will be ready to dive in headfirst into Bitcoin and altcoins. So could that be the key catalyst here for altcoin season? Or could that be the catalyst here for bringing Bitcoin to, $500,000 per Bitcoin? I definitely think so. And we're going to dive into all of those details. Now, before we do, if it's your first time stopping by the channel, my goal is to help you find your footing here within the Bitcoin and Cardano ecosystems. If you appreciate content like this, please smash that thumbs up on the way in. If you want more of it, consider subscribing. And last but not least, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave those down below. Now, if you want to take your support here for the channel even further, consider delegating with either of the two Dapp Central stake pools, sharing the ticker DAPP. Without any further ado, let's jump right on in here. If you've missed it, Trump pardons the Silk Road creator Ross Ulbricht. This young gentleman has been in prison for the last 12 years, and Trump just pardoned him about 48 hours ago, as soon as the inauguration, or as soon as his inauguration concluded. And this is a massive step here, showing support for the Bitcoin and just the blockchain industry as a whole. Again, we've seen a lot of Bitcoin cease from different platforms like the Silk Road, and all of that has gone back to the government, and they've had the ability to actually sell that on the open markets for their own profit. But to see somebody who was such a pioneer at an early stage, even though it was used for the wrong reasons, being freed is a massive step here in support for the crypto and blockchain space. In addition, we've got the rescinding of SAB or Staff Accounting Bulletin number 121, which put down some regulatory frameworks and some guidance about how banks could actually custody Bitcoin and when they could or could not do so. And so this is actually coming in here earlier today, labeled Staff Accounting Bulletin number 122, which undoes everything that Staff Accounting Bulletin 121 had officially laid out. Just for confirmation's sake, I actually jumped over to the official SEC website where we've got SAB 121, and then we've got the official publishing earlier today of SAB 122. Now, that's just the very beginning here. Again, Trump really putting his money where his mouth is and following through with his actions here. Now, one thing that I wish that he would not have done is actually launch his Trump token or his Trump meme coin. That, I think, made a lot of people lose respect for him. If he would have done these things before doing anything else within the crypto space in terms of launching a token, I think that people would have been a little bit more open to it, right? But coming in, launching a meme coin first, and then signing executive orders was probably not the best move there on his part. Now, before we get too sidetracked here, let's jump into the actual content here, which is the official executive order labeled Strengthening American Leadership in Digital Financial Technology. This was signed earlier today on January 23rd of 2025. So we're going to break this down here piece by piece. I've highlighted some key pieces here, but there's a whole focus on protecting the US citizens. There's a piece focusing on the regulatory frameworks around Bitcoin and blockchain technology. There's also some talks here about CBDCs and prohibiting them, right? Which again is crazy because we've seen Gary Gensler and we've seen Joe Biden, who could have potentially done this a year or two ago, but they chose not to. And so the fact that Trump has come in and within the first, 2 days, He's basically shown immense support for crypto and blockchain. I think that we're really going to be in here for a massive shift when it comes to how crypto and blockchain is treated here within the United States. So let's quickly kick this off here, where it mentions the purpose and the actual policies outlined in this particular executive order, where it states the digital asset industry plays a crucial role in innovation and economic development within the USA. It is therefore the policy of my administration to support the responsible growth and use of digital assets, blockchain technology, and related technologies across all sectors of the economy, including by, and this is the first piece here, protecting and promoting the ability of individual US citizens and private sector entities alike to access and use for lawful purposes open public blockchain networks without persecution. So this is massive here, basically allowing for US citizens and private entities or companies the ability to jump on a blockchain and use that without being persecuted. Second, we've got this particular executive order providing regulatory clarity and certainty built on technology neutral regulations and frameworks that account for emerging technologies, as well as transparent decision making and well-defined jurisdictional regulatory boundaries. So a lot of words there, but in a nutshell, this executive order is outlining or is set to outline some sort of legal or regulatory framework here that we can all abide by. That was the biggest thing when it came to the SEC suing Coinbase, suing Kraken, suing Binance. They basically stated, hey, we're suing you guys because you guys are trading securities, but there was no legal framework. There was no legal guidance. And with the little bit of guidance that we had, it was sort of like people were just shooting in the dark, right? The SEC wasn't holding people's hands, trying to show them how to actually get to a point where they could be classified as a commodity. It was almost like they were hunting people and trying to find people in order to just take their money, or in order to have them sort of minimize their impact or reach in the crypto and blockchain space. Now, there's also a piece here talking about taking measures to protect Americans from the risks of CBDCs, which threaten the stability of the financial system. I am not sure who spoke to Trump about this particular executive order, but they've literally hit on all of the things that have been plaguing the crypto ecosystem in the last 2 years. So again, we've seen Gary Gensler leaving, and the gentleman who's going to be stepping up and taking his place as the head chair of the SEC, he's pro Bitcoin. And so I think this is going to be sort of the narrative moving forward. A lot of bullish and positive news here surrounding Bitcoin, altcoins, and just digital assets moving forward. So now we've talked about US citizens, protecting them in terms of interacting. There's a legal framework coming down the pipes. There's going to be measures to protect or to prohibit CBDCs from destroying the value of the dollar. And then scrolling down here, they talk about this brand new working group. So it talks about the establishment of the president's working group, whose focus is on digital asset markets. Now it breaks down exactly who's going to be a part of the group. And then as we scroll down here, there's 3 pieces here that I want to quickly highlight before we wrap up today's video. So it states that within 180 days of this particular order, the working group shall submit a report to the president through the APEP, which shall recommend regulatory and legislative proposals that advance the policies established in this order. So basically, this group will come together, and in the next 180 days, they're going to have to propose something to Donald Trump that enforces all the things that we've just highlighted there above. In addition, the working group shall propose a federal regulatory framework governing the issuance and operation of digital assets, including stablecoins in the USA. This is exactly what we've been missing. We've been asking Gary and the SEC, give us some sort of framework. We will now have that here within the next 180 days. Last but not least, the working group shall evaluate the potential creation and maintenance of a national digital asset stockpile and propose criteria for establishing such a stockpile, potentially derived from cryptocurrencies lawfully seized by the federal government through its law enforcement efforts. So this is the one piece that I am still a little bit torn on. So don't get me wrong here. I definitely want the national digital asset stockpile. Now, the fact that they could create that stockpile based off of seized assets is the piece where I'm a little bit nervous, because again, they've been seizing assets since way back in 2010, 2011, 2012. Again, around the same time that Ross Ulbricht was indicted, or at least arrested. And so think about Bitcoin from 12 or 13 years ago that they probably hold. And now, because again, it's going to be their right, or it's going to be their property, they'll have the ability to potentially put that towards that stockpile. That is just the only piece that doesn't necessarily sit right with me. I'd love to maybe see some sort of alternative about how to use those types of assets. But just generally speaking, if the US is going to put money together in order to build a stockpile, I am all for that. I just don't think that we should use lawfully seized assets to go towards that. So let me know what you guys think down below. Again, not too much of a big point there, but I do think that it is important to note that, we should still be working to set some sort of stockpile, and whether or not it comes through new financial investments or new liquidity or seized assets, it's just good to hear that the team is thinking, or that the working group will be thinking about putting together this particular stockpile. Now, as we get ready to close out here, there is one piece here that I have to highlight, which I'm extremely proud to see included in this executive order, and that's the prohibition of CBDCs, where it states, except to the extent required by law, agencies are hereby prohibited from undertaking any action to establish, issue, or promote CBDCs within the jurisdiction of the USA or abroad. So let me know what you guys think down below. It definitely seems like Trump is following through here on his promise extremely quickly. Again, we've broken down just this piece here, but as we get ready to wind things down, there was a big piece of news that broke just yesterday, which came in from the CEO of Bank of America, the second largest banking provider within the USA, where he mentioned that the banking industry will embrace cryptocurrencies for payments if regulators allow it. And then he mentioned this quote, or word for word, if the rules come in and we can make this a real thing that you can actually do business with, you'll find that the banking system will come in hard on the transactional side of things. So could that be what happens next year? We've got the ability for big banks to now custody crypto with the rescinding of SAB 121. We've got regulatory clarity coming in within the next 180 days. We've got a potential US-based stockpile of digital assets coming in. We've got protections for US citizens. And then we've got the prohibition of CBDCs. I definitely think that this is really the beginning of a potential crypto revolution, especially within the USA. And I think that this is, at least at the very beginning, right? This looks to be a very promising candidacy when it comes to the adoption for crypto and crypto technology. Now, I can't speak for everything else that's going to come as a part of this presidency. There's obviously been a lot of other controversial topics or things that have already been mentioned, but just focusing in on crypto and blockchain, this is exactly what we've needed. So let me know what you think down below. Is this positive news? Is this negative news? If so, why? That said, that will bring us to the end here for today's brief update, breaking down cryptos, or President Trump's brand new executive order focusing on crypto. If you found this video to be helpful, please smash that thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. If it's your first time stopping by the channel and you want more, consider subscribing. And last but not least, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave those down below. That said, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.